Hey there, and welcome to the B2B Content Show, a podcast about the how, what, and why of B2B content marketing. I'm Jeremy Shear, and my guest today is Caroline Dunn, Vice President of Marketing at Wahsega, a company that makes PA systems for schools. Carolyn, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Jeremy, for having me on this show today. I am super excited about this show.
Awesome, awesome. So, before we dive into our main topic, which is video marketing and tips for how to do it to get the most benefit, first, just give us kind of a short 30-second version of who you are, a little bit about your background and your role at Wahsega.
All right, excellent. Thank you. So I am actually an engineer by education. I did a bachelor's and a master's degree of electrical engineering at Georgia Tech. So after all of that, I realized that engineers needed a translator. They needed somebody to
Hmm.
explain why their inventions were so great, how they were going to make the world a better place, how they were going to, make your life better. What's in it for you? We had a really hard time doing that. So I
Hmm.
transitioned my career into marketing so that I could do that. I could explain inventions.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. And tell us about your role at Wahsega and a little bit about Wahsega, what you guys do.
Well, actually, I was going to mention before I started my job at Wahsega, I had all these like part-time jobs, and one of my
Oh, okay,
part-time
yeah, go
jobs,
ahead. Yeah.
yeah, one of my part-time jobs, which is kind of the setup to why we do video marketing, is I was a YouTube personality. I made technology
Mm.
tutorials on YouTube, and I have 35,000 subscribers right now on YouTube. How did I get involved with Wahsega? They contacted me on my LinkedIn profile. I did not know them ahead of time. I do try to network in Atlanta, but apparently I don't know everybody in Atlanta. And what really struck me about Wahsega, the reason I'm there, is they, the CEO, first conversation, he had his elevator pitch down and in a very authentic way, not in the, just very slick way, very authentically within the first couple minutes he could explain why Wahsega was better, faster, and cheaper than
Mm.
all of his competitors. And he was just very frank about, hey, there are a lot of competitors, there are a lot of people who do the exact same thing, but hey, here's how I do it better, faster, cheaper than everybody else on the market. And I was like, whoa, I got to pay attention to this, I got to think about this. So
Hmm.
more conversations happened, and I just really fell in love with the product. It is hardware, it is and software, and it's really changing how schools do something really quite boring, quite frankly. Who thinks about the PA system at their school? And they're
Yeah.
really changing the market. I'm super excited to be a part of that.
Okay. Really cool. And we all know about PA systems at schools, right? The bell coming through, whether it's a tone or like the clanging bell or the announcements to students and all that. So that's what you guys provide, the technology, the hardware and the technology to make that all work.
Yes, yes. So, a long time ago, there was this analog technology. It's old, it's dying right now, and we're coming in with the IP technology, the new
Mm.
version of the technology, and it's really made the whole, it doesn't do exactly the same thing. It does things better, faster, cheaper.
Okay. Very cool. So you guys are like disrupting the school PA space, basically.
Yes, that's the intent. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay, pretty cool. All right. So, and now I know that as VP of marketing, you have leaned heavily into video marketing as like your main tool, one of your main channels, one of your main tools. So let's just start right there. Why video? And I'll preface this by saying that that might seem like a dumb question. Like everyone's into video. It almost seems like it's just basic knowledge or common wisdom. Like, well, of course you need to do video. That's the best channel. It's so engaging. It gets the best return on investment. But explain that to me a little bit. So why, in fact, is video such a good way to go, or why does it work for you guys?
Okay. So let's take a step back.
Okay.
Yes, I was very biased toward video because I was a YouTube personality, right?
Yeah.
So of course I wanted to get in there and just start doing video. But actually, my boss was like, hey, uh, you know, let's let's not just jump to conclusions, like, oh, let's just not say, all right, video is going to be it for us. all right, let's think about this a little bit. What's our strategy? What's our, what do we know about the B2B market and what we can do there? And actually, we started by looking at a stat that I'm going to share with you right now. We saw a stat that said B2B buyers are over 60% done with their buyer journey before they ever talk to a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So today, it's we're out of the whole, you have to call a salesperson, you have to, learn what the product does from a salesperson. Those days are over. People want to self-educate now. B2B buyers want to self-educate now. And so we have a company strategy that our website should be a place for people to self-educate. And it worked, and it's great both ways, right? You don't want to waste a salesperson's time on trying to, explain a product that's not going to solve their problems. You kind of want to know up front before you go into a meeting, hey, does this product actually do what I need it to do? I have a problem. Does it solve that problem? So they should be able to self-educate and learn, like, is this potentially going to solve my problem? And then they can get into the nuances. Hey, I've got a special situation with that salesperson. So if you have a company strategy, so first of all, you have to have a company strategy of, hey, I'm going to allow my customers to self-educate. And I believe in content marketing. And that's why I wanted to be on your podcast today. So thank you for having me on your podcast. So it's about content marketing, not,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't like, oh, it has to be video. It needs to be about content. And we can put together content in all sorts of different ways. And
Right.
but I happen to know a lot about video. But we're not making videos for the sake of making videos. I disagree with that. For example,
Mm.
I'm following you on LinkedIn now. I saw your LinkedIn post earlier today that was like, don't make podcasts for the sake of making podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's a little checklist. You gave us a little checklist of what you need to think about before you go into this podcast thing. And I would say the same thing about video. Does video accomplish what you want it to accomplish, that you can do something that you wouldn't do otherwise? I mean, if a PDF or a podcast or something else fits the bill for content marketing, by golly, go do that. Don't do
Mm-hmm.
videos. So I'm selling against the video thing, but for now. But so we looked at, okay, how do I show people that my product is easy to use? Show, don't tell, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
we got into video. We wanted to show, don't tell. So, for example, one of the reasons why we're better, faster, cheaper than our competitors is because our product is easier to use. So it's one thing to go on my website, and everybody puts this on their website. Okay, our product is easy to use. I've never seen a website that says our product is so hard to use, you need to hire rocket scientists to go configure our product.
Right.
Every single website says that. Well, I actually have a video. I actually have proof that shows my product is easier to use. Like, here we are. Here's the screen. Oh, you want to do this? All right, boom, click, click, click. All right, done. So our videos are under a minute long. Actually, we try to keep them all really, really short,
Mm-hmm.
really, really snackable. And that's because we did a whole bunch of research about, all right, what do people want to see? What content on video is useful? What are people looking for? So there's so much um, data out there on just, hey, here's why you should do video. 50% of B2B decision makers use YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. People spend 2.6 times more time on a website or on a page, on an individual page that has video than without.
Mm-hmm.
And me as a content marketer, I want people to spend more time on my website, right? Because that self education that turns
Sure.
into a meeting with the sales team.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah. So adding video to your email can increase click rates by up to 300%. So when we send out an email, we see what we do is, instead of doing a video, we do like a little GIF that just kind of auto plays on
Mm-hmm.
there, and it just kind of gives you a little bit of either a product demo or something of value that teaches you something that hopefully that you want to learn about a product.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all that makes really good sense. And it feels to me like you guys in particular, and companies like you could probably make the same claim, that you guys have a strong case for video because the product that you offer, it makes sense to show people how it works, right? You're dealing in hardware. And so people want to know, like, well, how easy is this to use? And that practically means like, well, what's the control panel like? You know, is it easy? Is it complicated? How long is it going to take me to get up to speed with this thing? Right. And so it
Exactly.
seems to me like a fairly common sense calculation that like, well, we could write a bunch of blog posts about this with like still images or something, but wouldn't it just be so much easier and effective to make a series of videos literally showing you how this works and explaining it at the same time, right? That's just going to be so much easier for the consumer and more useful, right? It seems to me in your particular case with the product you're selling that just makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it's a very visual product. We're doing IP displays. We do, we have a dashboard, we have a control panel. It's
Yeah.
so easy to show somebody how to do something, and then what it looks like on the display of our IP display. Yeah. So yeah,
Hmm.
definitely, it's a very visual product.
Yeah. So I guess like I was just kind of going on and on in there, but I actually did have a question, which I'm reminding myself of now. So it's, you gave us some statistics about video on a web page means people will stay on average this much longer, and the same in an email and so on. To what extent do you think it that depends on exactly who you are and what it is that you're offering, like what your email is about or what your website's about, right? Because not all like we are a podcasting company, we offer podcasting services, and not that there's no visual element there sort of can be, but or for companies like mine that offer services, and aren't selling like a product, something you can hold in your hand exactly, is video always necessarily going to be just as valuable? Or again, like, does it kind of depend, at least in part, on what you're making the video about?
100%. I completely agree with that. So when I was doing videos on YouTube, I was doing tech tutorials on YouTube, and I could have chosen any medium I wanted to. I could have done a podcast. I could have done it this way. But you know what? Most of my videos were like connect the green wire to the blue wire, and then cut
Right.
this wire, and then it was going to be super hard for me to explain the whole
Yeah.
wiring thing without a video. And actually, the first like a whole bunch of videos, I was really camera shy at the beginning, believe it or not.
Yeah.
When I started making YouTube videos, I just had the camera on my hands. You couldn't see my face, and you would just see me like soldering two wires together. And I would just be like, okay, you need to connect these wires together, and you get your soldering iron, you put on the flux like this, and there was no face. I was so camera shy when I started, but I looked at what I had to do, and I was like, there's no way I can explain this in a PDF
Yeah.
or podcast. I mean, like, so I had to do video, actually against my free will, quite frankly, when I started on YouTube.
Hmm. Against your free will.
And
You're like, do it or else.
I was just like, no, I don't want to get on YouTube. No, but I was like, how am I going to explain connect, A
Yeah.
wire to B wire? There's no other way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you've gotten over your camera shyness, I think, a little bit.
A little
Just a little
bit.
bit. You seem a little more comfortable on camera to me now. So, all right. Well, in any case, for you guys, video makes a lot of sense. Um, Tell us about your production process a little bit. Like how highly produced are the videos, or do you think they need to be? And kind of what are you going for in these videos? Is it purely just here's how you do a thing, like the most practical stripped down how to, or are you thinking about the production value, the entertainment value? Like how do you think about that?
Oh, that's a really great question. So we have never hired a professional production crew, number one. I would love to hire a production crew. I don't know what I would do with them. Um, so people want authentic videos. They want to know that it's not a slick magic show you just put on with, they want to know that your product actually does what you say it does. So actually, to start off, we actually didn't really have a budget for this. It was actually low budget. We started off with just doing some screen record videos just to show you how the control panel worked, how to show you the dashboard. So all we needed for that was a computer, and we did a screen record, and we threw that up on YouTube and put a thumbnail image, and we were like, oh, we didn't even do sound on the first videos too. Sound is super important in video. You have to have good sound. Oh, we were like, no, we're just not going to do sound. We want to do snackable content. We want to do 30
Hmm.
second videos. We saw this stat about people are scrolling on Facebook with their thumb. And so they don't have the sound turned on Facebook
Mm.
or LinkedIn. So we were like, all right, well then forget it. No sound on these videos. All right, we're just gonna make silent videos and we're just gonna put a caption on the bottom to explain what we're doing at that moment. And we just started out just really simple, see how this goes, see what the response is, see if people are interested in this. And then you kind of get into, more complicated videos, more production value, lights,
Hmm.
fancy microphones, a 4K camera. You kind of get more into it as you progress. But we did a couple videos just to see what the response was going to be. It was great. We're like, okay, let's keep on doing this. If you do a couple videos, don't go out and spend a whole bunch of money first. Go and do, like, what can you do? I've made videos on my phone, okay,
Hmm.
with 3,000 views on LinkedIn. Okay, no microphone on my phone. People will watch that. I mean, I turned up the volume a little bit, and try to make the sound a little bit better. But people will watch that because it's authentic.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
And again, when you say authentic, I mean that's a term that gets thrown around a lot. I think I know what you mean, but I want to make sure so that it's not overproduced, it's not slick. It comes across as just this really is us making this video and just trying to show you how to do a thing without a lot of bells and whistles. Is that what you mean by authentic?
absolutely. Yes. I mean, we watch TV. I enjoy watching TV. I've seen a ton of commercials. They're great. They're beautiful, but they're kind of annoying. So, I mean, YouTube started out as I saw a guy, he filmed a technician sleeping on his couch. I mean, that was the rise of YouTube right there. Is home videos. I mean, who ever thought if you had bet me money, years and years ago, for that, all this really bad user generated content would be so huge today, I probably would have lost that bet, quite frankly. I could not have predicted that people would be interested in watching, um, uh, non commercial, non professional type videos. But it's really, really huge now. And I think it's because it's about the content and it's about being authentic versus, this really slick production that's like, I don't know if I trust you. People want to trust you.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so too much production, even though it could like technically make a video look better, quote unquote, like fancier, you're making the argument for yeah, but it can get harder for people to like trust you through that video because they just assume like, well, this is just a bunch of marketing stuff.
Oh, it depends on your budget too.
Hmm.
Right? I mean, most people when you start on YouTube, you don't have a lot of money to buy, all these fancy cameras and do all this like, production or hire a camera crew. You don't need all that. I mean, that's one of the biggest, when I talk about video, a lot of people, have a lot of deer in headlights, the objections. The objection is how much is this going to cost me?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's great. I don't want to take away business from a real videographer, who does great production. There is a place for that. That absolutely you should be doing that. That's great if you can afford all that. But for small companies or people just trying to get their content out there, you don't need to go and spend a ton of money from the get go. I do what you can with what you have. And then if you find yourself in a rhythm or find yourself, hey, I do need to move it to the next level, hire that crew. Okay.
Hmm.
Put jobs out there. I'm all for, creating jobs.
All right, but start simply and just kind of
Yeah.
figure it out a little bit before you start spending a lot of money on it. Okay.
Oh,
So,
wait, wait,
so
wait. Oh, wait, wait. I
yeah.
just thought of the point that I want to make. Sorry, can
Okay.
I
Yeah.
interrupt? Sorry.
Yeah.
So what people do is they go out and hire a big production crew. They go and spend a whole bunch of money on a video. They get this really slick production. It's not that it's bad to do that. It's bad to do that as your first video. I
Right.
think that's
Yeah.
that's kind of my issue because they'll put a lot of money into it. They'll make one video and it'll be a failure, and then they'll be sad about it, and they'll say
Mm,
video's a disaster. No, no, no,
yeah.
no, no, no. You don't start out with the slick, nice video. You end with the slick, nice video. You start with something really simple, and you find your traction in the actual content that people want to see.
Yeah. Okay. So that's key, right? You just focus on the content that people want to see and learn about, and then you worry about like the slick production value later, even if you ever get there. But But if you're producing video about something that people don't care about, then it doesn't matter how good the production is, right? People won't watch. So how do you, when you guys started down this path, how did you know what to make videos about?
Oh, that's a good question too. All right, so we just looked at our problems. We looked at our customers' problems. We looked at our problems. So you had kind of mentioned, hey, our videos are kind of these how-to videos, just a nitty-gritty. How do you do this? And then you said, well, you could have put it, could have put a bunch of screenshots into a PDF, right? Ironically, we had all that. The support
Uh-huh.
person actually created all these documents with all the screenshots that showed you how to do everything step by step. Nobody read these
Mm,
these documents. Nobody read what support had put out, and including myself at one point. So, uh, and so customers were calling in and saying, "Hey, I want videos.
mm,
Where's your video content? I don't want to read a bunch of boring PDFs." And I think that goes back to the whole argument of don't do video for the sake of doing video. Do the medium that makes the most sense for what your customers want to see. Um,
yeah.
yeah. So, we looked at, okay, what are our pain points? So actually, so it turned out a pain point in the company, actually not related to marketing or related to marketing, I don't know. It is that customers were calling up demanding how-to videos and we had none. That
Mm,
was a pain point. And we have a great support team and US based, support team, and they will sit there and do a Zoom screen share with you, and they will walk you through every step, little step, one on one with you, and they love doing that. And we have enough support people to do that. Customers
mhm.
were calling in saying, "I don't want to sit one on with you. I want to watch videos on my own time when it's convenient for me."
So your customers made it kind of easy for you, right? They're like, this is what we want. And you're like, all right, let's
Yes,
give the people what they want, right? So what about though? So what's your advice then for say a marketing team that's like, yeah, we want to get more into video. Either we're doing none or we're doing just a little bit, but we think we need to do more. And let's say they don't have that. They don't have people calling them and saying, please make us videos about this. What would be your first step, like just getting started and you haven't yet gotten that data, but you're thinking we probably need to do more video. Like, where do you begin to get off on the right start and make sure that you're going to do it, in a way that's going to add a lot of value?
I would go back to the previous step of content marketing. Let's agree that content marketing is king. Content is
Mm-hmm.
king. And I would look at the kind of content I want to produce and then think about the medium I want to use. And it could be video or it could be podcasting.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. So what kind of content do people need? What kind of content do you
Mm-hmm.
need to fill that funnel? I don't know if you're doing the funnel anymore or you're doing, ABM, account-based
Yeah.
marketing. What kind of content are people looking for? And it might be podcasting, it might be video, it might be a
Mm-hmm.
PDF. And think about what you need to do and then think about the medium and exploiting that medium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Right. So and that goes back to what you were saying before, and you alluded to my blog post. Like, don't just do a thing because it seems to be popular. Or like our competitors are doing it. We obviously have to do it too. Maybe, maybe not. Right. And I guess, I mean, maybe another way what you're saying is think about your audience. Who are these folks and what's going to add the most value to them? And if you're not
exactly.
sure, then figure that out. Ask them, ask your current customers, and like you guys, they might just tell you, like, well, actually, we want videos showing us how to use your product. Oh, okay, cool. Let's make those. Or whatever it is they want. And maybe it's a variety of things. And maybe it's not just video, but it's also a podcast or also a webinar series or whatever. Right. But it all comes down in the end to your audience and what they actually need.
Yeah, yeah. But as I said earlier, I was forced into YouTube against my free will. Didn't want my face on there. I was like, okay, here are the wires. Okay, and I'm just going to show you my fingers. But it turned out video was the best,
Hmm.
for this sort of visual content. So if you don't have a lot of visual content, then maybe video is not for you. And let's just be honest about it.
Yeah, if you don't have a compelling visual story to tell, maybe you don't need to do video. Or
Yeah.
if you are going to do it, you need to figure out how to tell a visual story with whatever it is you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So, but for companies with that visual story, think about your storytelling. Think about what you want to explain to people. Think about what's compelling. how are you solving the problems? Number one, if I'm not solving
Yeah.
a problem, I'm of no use to you. You need to move on, and I need to move on.
Yeah. People just won't spend their time if it's not solving a problem or giving them value in some way, right? Maybe, there
Yeah.
are other ways to add value, but right, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be helping you figure something out.
And
And
I'm B2B marketing. So
yeah,
this
yeah.
is, this is how we do things. If I was B2C, I'd be talking about entertaining you, and
Right,
maybe I'd make
right.
you a cat video or something. I don't know. So that
Well,
it's a little bit different.
yeah, I mean that's a whole other interesting discussion because there is a lot of talk in the B2B world that I see on LinkedIn about making B2B marketing more entertaining, more fun, more like B2C marketing, or at least not being afraid to try that kind of stuff. I think we're maybe kind of in the early stages of figuring out what that could look like, but still what you say I think makes sense. Primarily still the average B2B buyer, when they're engaging with your content, it's probably because they have a problem to solve and they're just looking for practical ways to solve it and they'll search for it. And if you have a good piece of content that speaks directly to it and you promote it, then you're hoping that's going to pop up and they're like, oh cool, I in the next 5 minutes I'll solve my problem and this helped me. I mean, that's basically still how it works the majority of the time.
So simple. Wow.
Yeah.
Marketing explained
Hey,
from
we
Jeremy. Thank
solved
you.
it. That's right, that's right. Well, Carolyn, I feel bad because we kind of have to cut this short. I feel like there's a lot more we could talk about, but we got to jump. So I just want to say thank you so much for being on the podcast and lending your presence to our video and audio. I guess maybe back in the day you were a little shy about it, but you're not anymore. You're really good at being on camera. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me on your show. I look forward to, listening to more of your podcast, following you on LinkedIn.
All right, thank you so much.